Hello, Hearties and fans of When Calls the Heart worldwide. I'm executive producer Brian Bird, and welcome to our first ever postseason Facebook Live after show, right here on the set of Hallmark Channel's Home and Family. We're thrilled if you're joining us live, but hope you'll watch this whenever you can in the next few days. I'm honored to be here with some of the most important cast members of our show, Lori Loughlin, Aaron Krakow, and Daniel Lessing. Yay. Right here, alive and well. Now, obviously, after last night's season 5 finale, you have a lot of questions, and we want to answer as many of them as we can. And we'll even be taking some from you on Facebook during this session. And we'll also talk a little bit about the exciting season 6, which is already in the planning stages. So let's dive in.
Okay.
All right, Lori, as a executive producer on When Calls the Heart, why don't you take us through this transition that we've just gone through?
Well, season 5 was, I think, one of our best seasons, but certainly filled with a lot of emotion. And first and foremost, I want to say to all of our fans that the three of us here are very good friends, and we all love each other and we support each other. But we are actors, and actors have contracts, and sometimes contracts expire, and you have a choice to make. You either renegotiate or you don't. And Dan has chosen to move on. We respect that. You know, no judgment. We love him. We wish him well. He's still part of the Hallmark family. So I just want to clear the air and just say that. Like, nothing but love for Dan. And the fans, I know, will continue to support him as we will. But with Dan's departure, led us to a tricky decision to make, which was what to do with the character of Jack Thornton. And so many scenarios, and we read them all on Twitter and Facebook, were floated. And when I tell you, we thought of all of them too. Like we talked about it, and then we talked about it again, and then we talked about it again. Like, do we recast the role? No, we can't recast the role. How can you recast the role? No. And plus the chemistry that these two have, we just didn't feel like, the writers didn't feel that was possible. Well, do we send him off to the Northern Territories? But we knew our time was limited with Dan, and the actor wouldn't be coming back. So now if we sent him off to the Northern Territories, now we have Elizabeth sitting in Hope Valley, just pining away and waiting, and not much story to tell. And then we also floated the idea, the writers came up with, well, what if he, before they got engaged, what if he just came to her and said, Mountie duties call, and I'm breaking up with you and I'm moving on. And really, when you thought about that, we were like, no, there's no way. There's no way Jack Thornton would ever leave Elizabeth Thatcher like that. The only way he would leave her is in death. And that was a really hard decision for the writers to make. Truly, truly it was. But I want the fans to know that in making that decision, we really did take you into consideration, because then what we tried to do, working backwards from that, was we tried to give you everything that you asked for in this relationship: an engagement, a wedding, a baby on the way. Yes, the circumstances weren't ideal, but they were what they were. So we tried to make the best of it, and we tried to give our audience what we thought they wanted. So that's how we came to that decision. And like I said, it wasn't easy. I do think that we had a phenomenal season. The three of us watched together last night. I mean, Dan even turned to me last night and he said, this is like the best episode we've ever done.
It was.
So anyway, that's how we came to that decision. It was not an easy one. We do love our fan base, you know, and you know, we hope you understand and you'll continue to support us.
Right.
So Dan, we have millions of Hearties breaking the internet right now.
Right. Really?
Right?
I hadn't noticed.
So what the heck just happened to Jack Thornton?
Right, I think Lori covered it really nicely. You know, circumstances arose for me where I needed to leave When Calls the Heart for reasons that are very personal to me. And I went to Hallmark, and they were nothing but supportive of me. I went to the girls, we spoke about it. They were nothing but supportive of me. And, you know, our relationship, Hallmark, our relationship with the girls, my relationship with the fans, it's a very, very positive one, and I'm just very excited to see what the future brings.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you know, we've all been talking about this for long time.
We have.
And it was the toughest secret to keep in the history of the world right now. And but you know,
I feel relieved now that we can finally talk about it. I know Aaron does too, because
yes,
Aaron and I kid you not, every day for the last year and a half, I think we have talked about this in some capacity because
we care.
Yeah, we do care, and so it was not an easy decision.
And Brian, sorry if I may just jump in.
Please.
Sure.
Since you're saying that we've been holding on to this for a while and there is some relief, I just want to say that there have been so many comments from the Hardys, good, bad, ugly, and many of the Hardys are coming to our defense saying, please don't attack our cast, please don't attack the writers. It's very sweet, but the truth is, have whatever reaction you need to have. Get it out there. It's fine. We've known about this for such a long time, and we've also had the privilege, let's call it, of getting to act it out, and that's sort of a cathartic process for us.
Right.
So don't worry, have whatever feelings you need to have. We've got a great season 6 coming your way, and we hope you'll join us for that.
right. And just the episode last night, I think grief counselors could use that episode as a tool to help people, because you, Aaron, you held the hands of the viewers and took them through this experience with you. And it was a very, very powerful experience.
Can I just say that
yes.
Phenomenal
Aaron's
performance.
performance last night was
Unbelievable.
unbelievable. And,
Yeah.
and when we were sitting there watching it, and Laurie as well, I mean, the arc of her character through this last episode and was amazing to watch. And Laurie was actually saying last night that if you don't win an award for this
Honestly,
episode,
I think you should be nominated for an Emmy.
You
I
guys
think you did
you're
such a great
very
job.
generous. Thank you. But I'm also one small piece in the puzzle of our amazing ensemble show. And
Right.
yes,
But
Jack
you
and
carried,
Elizabeth. Well,
you
okay,
carried.
thank
right,
you
and
very
that's the
much.
way
So you did.
that's the way I feel as well. You know, I'm one small piece of a very, very big puzzle, led by Aaron, Laurie, and I just want the fans to know that how much I love them and how much difficult that this entire process has been and this decision has been. And so
Right.
there's been a lot of support around me with this, and I just want to thank them. But
So
we'll get to
great.
that after.
Yeah, absolutely. So Aaron,
We
talk
just
about
hijacked your interview. Sorry, Brian.
That's okay.
We totally did. We're jumping ahead.
There's a Facebook Live. We're going to take it as it comes and figure it out. So talk about how you prepared for this, the last 2 episodes of the season as an actor.
You know, I should have a great answer prepared for this, but the truth is, I was just sad that Dan was leaving. That's the bottom line. We were all really sad about it, and that's hard. I mean, Dan has been, well, so has Laurie, but Dan in many ways has been my partner in crime for 5 years, and one of my greatest scene partners ever, and I'm just really gonna miss him.
We knew this tissue under the coffee table was going to pay off.
So there was that, and then also the truth behind this story is heartbreaking. I mean, I guess I've played a woman who has lost her military fiance or husband a few times now.
Yes, you have. That's
but
right.
but this felt very special because these characters are all so close to me, and all you have to do is think about it, and the tears fall.
And having said that, that's not, we just want the fans to know that that's not what we plan to continue doing in our show. We're not, this was a unique situation.
Right.
We're not going to move forward and kill off characters.
Right.
Like, that's not what we want to do. The very reason for ending the episode on Elizabeth finding out that she's having a baby is symbolic of season 6, and that, you know, it's a rebirth, and it's starting over, and it's about community, and it's about, you know, forging ahead and finding the joy again in life. So we're not going to be walking around next season mourning. Of course, we will talk about the Jack character. We will celebrate the birth of the baby, and we have other great stories to tell. But we just want everyone to know that, you know, we're getting back to business in Hope Valley the way that you guys like it.
You know, there are happy endings, right? Usually on When Calls the Heart. And I can't think of a happier ending than what we saw last night, because you went through this incredible journey of getting through the grief, or at least partially through the grief process. And then all of a sudden, there's a baby on the way, right? There's a little
knew?
Jack or a little Jacqueline on the way.
That's right.
And Jack Thornton's legacy will be alive in Hope Valley forever because the school is named after him too.
That's
Of course,
true.
yes.
That's
Yeah.
right. Well, Dan and Aaron, this question's for you. Favorite memories of working together on the show?
Oh,
There have been so
many.
many.
look, you know, when you're lucky enough to have a work partner like Aaron, and they become one of your best friends in the world, and you get to spend, you know, a good portion of your year with them day in and day out doing what you love doing, it's a no-brainer. It's pretty special. So we've got so many great memories, and I think that the whole journey that we've taken together as actors and as friends has really, it's something that I will hold in my heart forever, forever. So I mean, the best. She said I was one of the best scene partners she's ever had.
Lori is sitting right next to me.
She's the best scene partner. Oh, hang on. Wait, I thought you meant like romantic lead opposite man scene
Oh,
partner.
I didn't specify, but-
I think like, yeah,
No, you know
Lori's
what?
in a different category.
Yes.
Lori's in a
Yes.
category of her own.
You guys have a very special chemistry, and it's been a joy to watch. Truly, it really has been. So,
Aaron, how about for you?
How am I supposed to top that? I mean, that was a great answer.
It's the truth.
I did really like shooting the wedding, though. That felt
Yeah.
very special, and in many ways, it felt like a gift to the Hardys that we could give them that, but also so lovely for all of us.
Yeah.
We've been rooting for this love story for a long time now, and it was
Right.
nice to get to seal the deal. I don't know what do you, I mean.
yeah, but I agree. I think we were
Well,
waiting.
some people might say consummate the wedding. but
Right,
I
we-
don't know.
we-
I didn't mean that actually.
we were waiting for the wedding and looking forward to it
Yes.
just as much as the fans were. Truly.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know, we took a cue from Downton Abbey in trying to figure out how to make this transition.
Yeah.
And what the creators of Downton Abbey did on their show when Dan Stevens left the show after the third season is they said, we have to leave Mary and Matthew, the characters on that show, in the best possible place ever before we go through this catharsis, right? And this ending of this one character. And what better place could we have left the two of you than with that epic wedding, right? And so, you know, I know some of the fans are saying, how could you give us a wedding and then yank
Yes.
it all away just 5 episodes later? But honestly, on Downton Abbey, they lost their child, or they gave birth to their child, and then Matthew passed away in
Right.
a car accident, literally within seconds of that. So this is sometimes how you have to, you know, get through these catharses.
Right.
Right, and as we were saying before, like with every death comes rebirth, and I feel like
right.
in season 6, there's going to be the birth of Jack and Elizabeth's child, and I think Hope Valley will have a new rebirth as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So Dan, can you sum up what it's been like for you to be on the show for 5 seasons?
See, it just brings a smile to my face thinking about it. You know, in all honesty, it's been the honor of my career to play Jack. It's been the honor of my career to work with these two amazing women who I consider some of my best friends in the world. I love these two. And Hallmark has been like just amazing, and I hope that we are able to. I hope that we can work together again with Hallmark. I really do hope for that, and I'll be pushing for it. So we'll see what happens. But
And that's the other thing. Dan is still part of the Hallmark family. He's not going anywhere. So,
Right,
you
right.
know.
That's right.
so to play Jack Thornton, I mean, what a tremendous character to play for 5 seasons on an American television show. You know, when I came out to the United States as like a guy that, you know, was playing music in bars in Sydney, to think that I would play a character like Jack on an American television show is like beyond anything that I could have ever imagined, really.
Right.
And so it's been for me an amazing learning experience in life. It's really highlighted what's important to me in life and in work life. And I've made some relationships through this show that I will hold with me for the rest of my life.
Fantastic.
So, and another thing, you know, when you're on a television show, you have a fan base, and Hardee's, I know it's hard for you right now. It's very hard for me as well. But I got to say, like, never did I imagine that I would personally, and I know the girls feel the same way, that I personally would have a fan base at all. And the fact that you've supported me through this journey playing Jack Thornton means the world to me, and I will never take that for granted, and I will continue to do my best for you all. And I'm just so grateful to have played Jack. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. And we just want to thank the fans, you know, in advance for all the support they have given us, and we want to thank Hallmark. And again, we want to say to all the fans, please don't be angry with the network or with the writers.
Right.
It's really important. Like Dan said, he went to them. Everyone was very gracious. They said, you know what, we understand you. We want to move on. We gotcha. And we've all been super supportive of that. And we hope the fans will continue to support us, because we are a community, and you're a part of our community, and Hope Valley is a community, and the Hardys are a community, and communities come together and they lift each other up. And I hope you will continue to do that for us, and we will try to do that for you.
Right.
So great. You know, the Hardys. The Hardys are the most loyal, compassionate fan base, I think, of any television show ever.
Yes.
Right? Now, they don't put on foil hats and go to Star Trek conventions and try to become aliens, but they love this show so
That's
much.
okay
and I think
too.
Because that's okay too. It's okay. This show has become so important to them, and I think that's why they feel so deeply about it.
I know.
Right.
Right? So when something strikes you so deeply and becomes a family member,
I know.
right? Well, family members can sometimes, you can be angry with them, right? Sometimes you can
Right.
love them unconditionally,
That's true.
right? Sometimes you can let them go and do what they want to do and give them the freedom that they need to do. Sometimes you do all those things at once
Right.
with your own family members. And so I think that it's a tribute to the work that you all have done.
And Hallmark.
And Hallmark.
The writing and putting
Yeah.
the show together, and
That's
these
right.
characters, and
Yeah.
then the casting, because, you know, I think that the chemistry with all of us, the writing, Hallmark putting this show out there to these fans, it's a testament to the work that everyone has done behind the scenes to bring these characters to life, and to have built, you know, this amazing fan base called the Hardys.
And I also think, you know, we read a lot on Twitter where people were upset, and understandably
Yeah.
so. And like Aaron said, they haven't had that moment to grieve and process
Right.
like we have.
Right.
So I think, you know, initially I was kind of I knew that they would be upset, but I really tried to say, okay, you know. And I remembered when I was a child, I used to watch, it's going to sound so crazy, I used to watch Lassie. I loved to watch Lassie. Well, anyone knows me knows I'm an animal lover. But I remember at one point, because Lassie was always in some kind of trouble, I would be so distraught, right? You were talking about how like a show means so much to you.
Right.
And I remember my dad saying to me at one point, you know, you're going to have to like get a grip, or you're not going to be able to watch Lassie anymore. But I mean, because and I do appreciate that the fans have that much emotionally invested into the show. We really do appreciate that, because we have that much emotionally invested into the show.
That's right. That's right. And you know, some of the best TV shows in all of history that are in sort of the category of One Calls the Heart, like Little House on the Prairie.
Right.
That show dealt with life and death issues a lot.
Yes.
Right. That wasn't just a one-time thing for them. They had multiple things like that
And
happen.
I think that's when you do a series,
Right.
that is what happens. It's a bit more of a journey versus a 2-hour movie with the happy ending, right?
Yeah.
So we are intending to have a happy ending,
Most
but
of the
when
time.
you but when you're doing a series, you do have to have, and again, we're not going to kill off any main characters again, but I think you do have to have the highs and the lows. I mean, that's drama. So
Yes.
And while we're acknowledging Hallmark Channel, I mean, they were very kind to us by letting us tell this story in the way that felt the most truthful for these characters and this world that we've created. I know it was a slight departure from the tone of most things on Hallmark Channel, and we were asking people to really take that ride with us, but I'm so glad that they did, and as Lori said, there's such a bright future in Hope Valley, and we don't plan on continuing to tell these kinds of stories.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We're looking to move through it as
That's right.
well.
So Lori and Aaron, this one's for you together. Now that one chapter is closing of When Calls the Heart, and we're opening up a new chapter, turning the page and starting to write on a new page. What does the Hardee's community mean to you going forward?
Well, like Dan said, like you said, Brian, we talk about it all the time, like what an incredible fan base they are. And I've been in the business a really long time. I've never come across a fan base like the Hardee's. And I've had fans throughout my career, but not quite like this. I mean, their devotion, their passion, it's, I've never experienced anything like it. So that's why I think when, you know, I finally just stopped reading comments last night because the
At what
truth
time?
is,
Like
at 2
4
in the,
a.m.?
at 2 in the morning, I stopped
None of
finally
us
at
slept
2
last
a.m.
night.
I
We're just
stopped
like,
reading. but it was hard for us too. We don't want to upset anyone or hurt it. Like we
Yeah,
care,
that's
we
hard.
care about them, and we don't want anyone to be upset. And yes, we knew people were going to be upset. And I think, you know, no matter how you slice it, whatever story we might have told, I think on some level somebody would have been unhappy. And I think
That's
it's
right.
just in general because a character is leaving the show. So, and I think, you know, change is hard. You know, sometimes
Right.
change is hard.
That's right.
So, but the Hardee's mean everything to us, truly.
Yeah, Aaron.
They are the show.
Feel the same?
I do. I feel the same, and I feel so grateful and honored that the Hardee's have welcomed us into their living rooms, into their bedrooms, into their classrooms, wherever they're stealing a peek of When Calls the Heart, and they've really made us feel like important members of their family. And I don't know, I think for all of us, the Hardee's kind of feel like an extended family for us as well.
And in return, we've tried to make ourselves accessible to them.
That's right.
Too, you know.
Have we missed a night? I feel like we're always
No,
tweeting with them.
Every Sunday night, Aaron and I get together and we watch the show and we tweet and we interact with the fans and you know, so because they are important to us. So
That's right.
you know, we definitely want, you know, to interact and let them have access to us too.
Yeah, and it feels, I think we all feel this, all of us, finally we can talk about this.
Oh, it feels so good to finally be able
So
to talk about
relieved.
it. We've been sitting on this. It's just, it's felt.
hate
It was like
secrets.
it was like a heavy burden. It kind of felt like a heavy thing to
Yes.
carry around. It really did.
Right, and we all, sort of, all of us have gone through the same sort of grieving process that the fans are now. We've just had a longer period of time, but we all have gone through those stages of grief about this,
Oh, yeah.
That's
this,
right.
this change.
Yes.
But I think we're all at a great place now. At least on this side, we hope the Hardee's will get there as well.
Yeah.
So Dan, speaking of the Hardee's,
Yeah.
if you could say anything to them, and you probably already said this, but if there's anything else you want to say to them right now, that would be great.
Sure. I think I covered a lot of how I feel about you guys when I was talking about you before and how grateful I am for you all. I guess I just want to say it's going to be all right. Don't worry. It's all good. Keep watching the show. Hallmark's awesome. When Calls the Heart is awesome.
Thank Dan.
That's it, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be okay.
And for all the wonderful things, Dan, that you're gonna do in your career going forward, we know that you're gonna have a lot of success doing that. And Hardee's, be watching this for this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. You're
Absolutely.
a wonderful actor, and you,
Yeah.
right.
you've
Follow him to whatever the next thing is, because he's gonna love having you there, and he'll keep talking to you, by the way, too.
100%. 100%.
So, Aaron, we're gonna end on this question.
Oh no, the pressure's on! What is it?
Speaking of the baby bump that you laid on
There's
us
no
there
bump
last night.
yet, Brian.
No bump. Well, not last night, but there probably will be in the next few months.
Probably will.
Tell us, boy or girl, what do you want? Tell
no.
Alfonso,
Oh,
head
this
writer,
is
what you
so
want.
bad. Brian,
I know what I want.
Tricky one.
I mean, I know what I want. Yeah.
That's so
Dan, you don't get to weigh in on this. Please.
He already waited.
No,
I already did.
Okay.
not in real life.
Wait, am I allowed to answer this? Am I allowed to answer this?
Why not put out what you want?
Well, just what you would
no,
like.
no,
it doesn't mean
no,
it's going to happen
no.
for you.
You're getting
Okay, here's my answer. I have assured the Hardys. I've assured the Hardys on social media that I am not reading a script today. This is all from my heart. But from my heart, I cannot give you an answer other than to say I would be so happy with a boy or a girl for Elizabeth.
Yay! And so would we. And
It's
so
a
would our
blessing
Hope Valley
either way.
Community.
We were talking before the show about what if it's a little Jacqueline and she's a tomboy, and what if 20 years from now she joins the Mounties? How cool would that be?
Goodness. See,
Keep it in the
so
family.
many stories to tell.
Keep
So
it in
many
the family.
stories. So many
Keep it in
stories
the
left.
family. Well, thank you, Hardys, for joining us, and all the fans of When Calls the Heart. We have to bring this to a close because Facebook, we're over time on our limit with
Oh, my.
Facebook.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much for being with us and for joining us for the Facebook Live after show. We've never done this before. You know, maybe we'll even do this again sometime. This
That
is
would be
kinda-
fun.
This is
That
kind
would
of
be
cool.
lovely.
But from the bottom
Better
of our hearts,
circumstances next
Yes, better circumstances.
from the bottom of our hearts, Hardys, we want you to know that we love you. You are the reason for the success of When Calls the Heart. I hope you know that. We hope you know that. And we don't take that for granted. We all want to wish Dan, our friend Dan, Godspeed on all the exciting things coming for him in the future. And we know we will be seeing lots of him on TV and films in the days ahead. It's been a joy and a blessing to work with you, Dan. It just really has. And we hope these last 5 seasons have been meaningful for you too. Hope Valley has grown to be a place where you all would like to visit as much as possible. I think you all know that, right? We also know that you've been on an emotional roller coaster this last season, and especially the last few weeks. And we're closing one chapter and starting a whole new chapter of hope, faith, love, family, and community. We trust you will want to continue that journey with us. The plans for season 6 are exciting and epic, and they're already underway. Don't forget to watch Lori, Aaron, and Dan on the Home and Family show tomorrow, April 24th. So until we meet again on the streets of Hope Valley, very soon, goodbye and God bless.
Thank you, Papa Hardy.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, girls. Love you.
Love you too. Love you too. Love you guys.
We're going to stay seated here.
Whew.
Oh, no.
Okay.